Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Happy Friday. Oh, they popped up right on time. Thank you very much, dear Padge. Yeah, happy Friday. It's Friends and Family Friday. You excited? I know I am, because each time we get to meet somebody new and hear a new story and get to know these guys a little bit more. So I'm excited. I'm a little tired. It's been a long week for me. But yeah, I'm here. I got my coffee. Let me see if we got Clay or anybody else in the chat already. Let me see. Nope, but we got Azario. There you go, bud. Good morning, Azario. Nice to see you. So, I was having a church barbecue yesterday. We have them Thursday nights, and it was our turn. Well, not really our turn. We offered it and wanted to do it. And right in the middle of it, I noticed my phone, because I normally keep my phone on Do Not Disturb because I'm trying to focus on the people I'm with. And I noticed that my phone had a missed call. Happens. Take a look at it. It's a 1866 number. Uh-oh. I know what that means now. That means somebody might be trying to get a hold of me out of a correctional facility in Alberta. Take a look, and I chat with Granny. I said, "Hey, Granny, somebody may have been trying to contact me." She goes, "That might be Chris L. He got the Newsweek article." Like, get out, really? So I turned my phone on to disturb me all you can mode, so that as soon as it rings again, I'm not going to miss it this time. And sure enough, not 10 minutes later, bam, there it is. This one was a hard call for me, because what I'm trying to do when I speak to these gentlemen is I'm trying to remind them about everything other than the problems they're in. So we talk about, hey, you like to fish, or what do you like to do on your spare time? We do all of that. With Chris Carbert, it was a nice phone call. We were able to talk about minor details about the court case and stuff like that. Because again, I'm trying not to remind them where they're at. I just want to have a conversation with the man. But Chris L., each line of questioning always ended up back in one spot. His kids. That man loves them. The process is a punishment, folks. Okay? That's what I'm going to tell you, because he's a large man. You think, oh, big, scary guy. He's a wonderful man, actually. Huge heart and very, very kind. So that was a very special phone call to have, and couldn't be more fitting. I'm surrounded by the church, and here Chris calls. So what I got to say to you guys, and I've spoken to two of them now, and I've spoken to a lot of defendants, a lot of plaintiffs, criminal, civil. I've spoken to people that needed some help, just want to speak out. With my church, people talk to me. I'm part of the legal over there. People come to me for that. But they're not guilty. Not a chance. There's no chance. They don't have the wiring to be an actual threat. They don't. It's just hundreds of people I've spoken to, and I'm rarely wrong on whether or not this person has the ability or capacity to do what it is they're accused of. And one that breaks my heart the most is when you spend even 5 minutes with somebody and you know they're not wired to be criminal. They don't think that way. It's just not in them. Both of these men, Chris L., his children, very, very focused on that. Very focused on that. And then Chris C., his landscaping, his fishing, his son, everything about him was awesome. I haven't spoken to the other two gentlemen yet. I will. But my goodness, there's still people out there that said, even as of yesterday, they deserve to be there. Not a chance, folks. Okay. I'm not declaring their innocence. I'm declaring that they're not criminals. That much I know for sure. For sure. Well, it is Friends and Family Day. We do have a major important family here today. And then, of course, some friends. So let me go ahead and introduce Donald, Granny. Hey, Donald, I caught you looking. Yep, caught you looking. Granny. Hey, Granny. Now, Granny may have a little bit of a connection thing, but we're going to get some stuff out of her today. We have Danielle back. Danielle, I'm not sure if you saw the thumbnail, but you're in there now. You're in the thumbnail. Yeah. So you are part of this show. So, yeah, we're going to get you...
Early morning show.
We're going to get you some coffee. Okay, we're going to do our best. That looks cool. Cool. And we have Betty. So Betty is Chris Carbert's mother. So hello, Betty. I think you muted yourself.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, you sound wonderful. Let me just turn you up a little bit here. And you don't drink coffee, but you got your caffeine, or you're ready to
I
go?
do. My Diet Coke.
Nice. Let me get this audio for you, and then cheers, everybody. Good morning. Enjoy your coffee.
Cheers.
Welcome, welcome. Look at that. We got a bit of a team here. There may be a couple more people that pop on because Chris L told me he texted my number to a few people. So if they want to be able to come on, I can get that link to them. So good morning. Good morning. I'm going to kind of start with Granny. We'll get some of your audio. We'll see what happens here, Granny. But we'll get you on here. So you speak to the gentleman every day. But basically, if not every day, it's every second day you speak to all of them. And first, Granny, I want to say God bless you. My heart breaks because I only had 2 calls with Chris yesterday, Chris L, and they were hard because we know their situation. They're explaining things to us. I was talking about his knees. I was talking about many times his family and his girl. 15 now, she's learning to drive. How do you do it? So when you're done these calls, what do you do with that empathy that you're feeling for them? Because there's a lot of it there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what my voice sounds like right now. I'm not at home, so it's a little bit wonky. Yeah, it's a tough one. Chris, I try to explain to him and talk to him, and I've had him giggling, and when you hear that man giggle, your heart fills. He's a wonderful soul, a lot of love for his daughters. But I also say to him, it's like being on an airplane. You need to take care of your oxygen mask first. He needs to focus on himself. He needs to, and that's hard when you're a parent, and he's a parent. So he's always thinking of his children, which we do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I do talk to him about taking care of himself, his knees, his own mental health. He wasn't a reader until he went into the remand.
That's right. He mentioned that. Yep.
Yeah, he's read a book every 3rd day. That's a lot of books. He's got big hands, and he's done so many lanyards with those tiny little beads. He finds a way. I feel that he kind of took a brunt of things in the remand. They weren't as kind, and not that, like, the guards have been fairly good, but I feel Chris took the brunt of some, like, the shoes and torture and stuff. So he went through a lot, and but you just keep going. You have to keep going for them. And there's days I want to climb underneath my bed and I don't want to come out.
I know.
But I keep saying to myself, they don't have that option.
That's right.
And so I just keep going because they don't have the option. Then, as far as I'm concerned, we don't have the option. We need to keep going until they walk out of those unlock those doors and let them out. And so as long as they are where they are, we just keep plugging along. We have to. I don't even feel there's an option.
Yeah, so God bless you. I have an absolute new, deeper love for you, Granny, because you're doing these calls all the time to all 4 of them. So you get to hear everything, the pain, the happy, the giggles, the trials and tribulations they're going through. You get to hear it all. And yeah, absolutely. This is nothing compared to what they're going through. Yeah. So that's what I absolutely understand.
Chris Carbert last, and Betty, you've raised such a beautiful son. Oh my gosh. So last Friday, I was in tears, and I've got a young man in a remand cell or center, and he's consoling me. Like, oh my gosh. Like, so he helped me through a time, and we have some pretty deep conversations. If I need a scripture for, say, forgiveness, I ask Chris, and Chris finds all these different scriptures. And so he is helping me. It sounds crazy, but they do. The 4 men are helping others. All 4 of them inside those remand centers are helping others. And that's pretty special when you're those men helping other people inside. So they are special.
Yeah, Betty, and I really enjoyed the call with him because I didn't leave that call feeling like he had lost hope or anything like that. Well, I left that call knowing He's got his faith, he's got his path forward, and he's not afraid of it. It was an incredible conversation with him. So yeah, you raised a wonderful young man, Betty. I'm going to put you on now, and maybe you can chat a bit about who Chris is and
Sure.
say whatever you'd like.
I don't even know where to start.
Well, he's a young man. You remember that part?
Yeah, he's the oldest of three boys. He lost his brother, and I lost my son in January. And so that's been a little rough for both of us because that's 7 people in a year. But anyhow, yeah, Chris has always been that guy, even in school, that would stop the kids from bullying another child. And he's just got that type of heart. He just never understood why people would do that. And when he grew up, and he always would go and help other people. He would drop what he needed to do to go help others. So it is who he is. And he is, unfortunately, I guess, learned a lot while he's in jail, and his heart is crushed by what he has seen happening to other inmates, that actually makes him forget sometimes what's happening to him, because he's appalled by what's going on with others. He is fortunately treated very well in jail, so he realizes when others are not being treated so well. I believe, like with Chris Lysak, yeah, I understand too that he wasn't treated very well in the beginning either. I think you have to be somewhat like Chris, who does stand up for himself as well as others, and soon the guards and the other people in charge start to realize what type of person you are.
Yeah.
He's been told a number of times by the guards and one of the guys that are higher up that they can't believe this is happening to him. But unfortunately, apparently, they can't say a lot in his defense.
Yeah.
So, and that's, I don't understand that, but I guess rules are rules, and they have to watch out for their jobs. But, yeah, but his number one thing is he has 2 children. Chris raised the son. The other one is with the mom, same mother. And Kyler is his life. That's all he wanted to do, is to raise that boy. And it's really hard on him being separated. They've been with me for the last couple of weeks, his kids. And so it's been really nice because I was able to take them a couple of times to see their dad. And you got to see his face the whole time. It's so animated watching the kids. Because, yeah, that's why he felt that he was in Coutts for his kids.
Right.
And he said, you know, if he had known what was going to happen, of course he wouldn't be there. He wouldn't have gone there, because he wouldn't have taken a chance to get separated like this from his children, and especially his son, seeing how he had raised him since he was 10 months old.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a hard worker, started a landscaping fencing business on $2,000 that he got a grant for, and was very successful. Got a few local awards for his business, and he was just getting to the point where, you know, everything was going really well, paid off all his machinery and stuff, and life was really looking good for him. And then this happened.
Yeah, he mentioned all of those as well. And then the fishing, he loved to go fishing as well with his son.
Yeah. All 3 of my boys and me were outdoor people.
Mm-hmm.
They like to fish, camp, hike. Yeah, everything that includes the outdoor. Yeah,
That's
every weekend. Chris had a cabin or a trailer out on on a lot, and that's where he went with Kyler every weekend. So,
Now,
yeah.
Chris Lysak is a good friend of your son, and so you know Chris Lysak as well.
Mhm.
And he was the same way. When I asked him, when we get this corrected, what is it, the first thing you're going to do? And he said, grab my kids and go to the mountains and hang out. He
Yeah.
trained them survival. He trained them how to hunt. He trained them how to take care of themselves, and he just wants to go hang out with them. That sounds about right for Chris.
Absolutely. I think Chris is going to go to the mountains and not come back.
He basically said that. Yep. Yeah. Because he was mentioning how he went there for his kids as well. So he was that Coutts for his kids, for the future of his children.
That's right.
Yeah. And he also mentioned they were planning to leave. They kind of had to get back to their lives. They were there for a bit. They were planning to leave. And
Yep. The next day, he had let me know that, as much as he'd like to stay, he just needed to be with his son more. His son had come for, a few days each week, but it just wasn't enough. And so he decided to go home the next day. And as he put it, tomorrow never came.
yeah. Yeah. He mentioned that. And that I believe him completely, that he was ready to go back and get back to his family.
Yes,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Thank you, Betty. We'll come right back to you. Good morning, Jaclyn. How are you today?
Good morning.
Good
well,
morning.
thank
How are you?
Sorry, I'm a little late. Had to get get the bedhead under control before I could show up here in public. So.
Yeah, there was a candid conversation before about the time as well. Yeah, people are mentioning the time.
I'm okay with the time. I just can't show up without coffee and my hair, somewhat closer to my head than way up here.
Well, let's get you into the coffee. Cheers. We all had it. So here you go. Cheers there.
Cheers.
Jaclyn. So if people don't know, you are Jerry's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how's he doing? Did you speak to him this week, of course?
Yep. I just talked to him last night. He's in good spirits, actually. It was a little hit and miss this week. The place is packed in there now. He said there's about 24 to 26 guys on his unit. So it's a complete full house, which makes it a little bit more of a gong show. They had an incident this week. And just like Betty said about Chris, Jerry's has a hard time seeing the treatment of some of the other inmates. And he tells me about it lots. What he notices is the mental health crisis, that most of these people are suffering with mental health issues. And, they're just being treated like dogs instead of, being offered any sort of therapy to, bring them back into a proper headspace. Jerry was telling me about a guy that he has fetal alcohol syndrome. And so, of course, he's combative, it's a typical symptom for that type of disease. And anyway, the whole place got pepper sprayed, and the guy that was having the issues ended up getting his face stomped by a guard. So that was hard for Jared to watch and to take in. He was quite upset about it for a couple of days. So last night he was in better spirits. It was funny. A friend of ours had called earlier and we were chatting. And so when Jerry called, I said, I was talking with them, and he's like, I just thought about them earlier today. And it was actually friends that put up the billboard down by Claire's home on their property that has their faces and their names. And Jerry got to see that in the paddy wagon on the way back from Lethbridge. And so
wow.
Right out the window there.
Yeah, exactly.
So
he's like, I saw my name and then I saw my face. he's like, it was so weird, but it felt really good to see that there, because it was like that's out there for everyone to see. And anyway, so he wanted to thank them very much for doing that. That he didn't realize how big of an impact that would have on him until he saw it. And so he was just really grateful, good spirits last night. And he's just, in his mind now, finally, he's starting to accept and get a little bit excited about the things that have been going our way.
Yeah.
And he was very shy to go down that road because of Jerry's very much he's an optimist, and so sometimes to his own detriment, where he just decides this is going to happen no matter what, and then the rug gets pulled out from underneath him. And so he's had a rough go with the letdowns as far as, denied bail twice, having a delay in all of the proceedings, just all of the rough stuff that we've been facing. And so finally last night he was like, I think there might be some good things happening. I was like, yeah, you know what? I think there might, babe. I think there might be a few good things happening. So it was nice to hear that he's, finally ready to, have a little bit of hope and excitement there. And, he goes through times where I can tell, like, obviously he knows that he's innocent and he doesn't belong in there, but sometimes he gets sucked into that everyday grind of being an inmate. And it's hard to hear sometimes because it sounds like he's like adapted too much, where he just accepts where he is. And it's good to hear him be optimistic and to have, a foot out here and a foot in there rather than kind of both feet in there. So we're happy about that.
I can see how much this is making you happy as well. Nothing but a grin on your face all morning. Yeah.
There's been a lot of rough days. Like there's been a lot of days to get him through in there. So again, when it's, and some days where I had to be, unfortunately, the voice of reason, where I didn't want to, but I had, to say, Jerry, that's not realistic. You have to be realistic about your expectations so that you don't get let down, which felt like garbage, to be
right.
But at the same token, just trying to make sure that he didn't set himself up for complete failure so that, his mental health wouldn't suffer in huge, ups and downs. So yeah, it's nice not to have to say, okay, keep those expectations in check. I think that, I think it's okay for him to have lots of hope right now. And I'm glad to let him have it,
Is he still doing the yoga?
Yeah, still doing yoga. Actually, he's been working on his tan. So he's been out in the courtyard. When he texted me the other day, he had his green tea, his Vaseline. The boy, oh my gosh, he thinks Vaseline's the cure for everything. He puts it on for tanning lotion, for chapped lips. He's a lineman, right? So when he's out in the wintertime and there's like, he's working in the wind and the cold, he puts it on his cheeks and his forehead for windburn. So and like every time there's anything, he's like, just put Vaseline on it. He puts on
that what he had in his hair at court?
In his hair, yes, in his hair. Anyway, so he got his hands on some Vaseline. So he was quite happy with his green tea, Vaseline, and the sunshine. So it doesn't take much to make the man happy. So
yeah, look, it makes you quite happy too. That's wonderful. So Vaseline in his hair? What's the purpose of that?
Oh, that's so funny.
It doesn't have hair gel, so he was trying to make it look nice. So he was just Vaselining it up.
So he is supporting the petroleum industry with his Vaseline.
Yeah, he's definitely an Alberta boy for sure. Yeah,
right.
Supporting it every way possible.
Granny, did you know that he likes his Vaseline?
Yes. Yeah, he told me that he had put it all over the place because then he was able to do his cowboy boots when he was in the room. So he was able to. Then he could put it on his boots. He said.
What a guy. That's awesome. Danielle, I'm putting you up. I'm putting you up right now. We got you. We got you. Oh my. You like this, Danielle?
No, it's so funny because when he walked into the courtroom and his hair was all greasy, even his lawyer's like, what's up with your hair? He's like, I like to grease it up. And the lawyer's like, you shouldn't be saying that when you're in jail.
Oh my.
This was in front of the entire courtroom. Like everybody was howling. So now I'm just picturing him with it in his cowboy boots.
On his yoga mat with all the mechs sticking around him.
Oh, it's so funny.
Oh my. Look, Danielle, you're not just an amazing source of information. You're also an amazing friend to Tony, right? So you know Tony very, very well.
Yeah.
We got you. See, you're functional bright and early.
Well, we gotta laugh too, right?
Yeah. Do you get to speak to Tony much? Do you get to call him?
I talked to him yesterday. So he's still up in Calgary, which I think has been pretty hard on him. When he first got arrested, he spent quite a bit of time in Lethbridge, which, like I think we've touched on yesterday, Lethbridge is kind of in the middle Medicine Hat and Calgary kind of thing as far as severity. And so as soon as he got to Medicine Hat, they transferred him to Medicine Hat at like 5 o'clock in the morning, very unexpected one day, kind of last summer. And it shocked him. It was probably the only time that he really lost it, because he was quite happy in Lethbridge. He had just set up his Bible study group. He had his job. He had a little cleaning job, so he had like purpose for his day. He had arts and crafts, so he's making like his friends.
Oh, Yoshi.
Little cool thing, like lanyards and things. So he had, I think he had people that he was helping. Like Betty had kind of said, Tony was really that way. His purpose in there was to mentor some other people that he felt seemed to magnetize to him. So kind of when they did that to him, I don't know what the purpose was. They say it was capacity reasons and whatnot. I don't really believe it, but it did shake him up. He did lose it. He phones me, phones his mom. I need to get back to Lethbridge right now. So I'm on the phone with the lawyers all day trying to get him shuffled back to Lethbridge. All of this stuff goes on. And his mom's on the phone crying that, we got to get him close back to Lethbridge. It's a lot farther from us in Medicine Hat to go visit and for her to visit. A couple of almost 3 hours on a narrow kind of crappy road to get to Tony now on the weekends. And then the next day he phones and he's like, never mind. I actually really like it here. They had way better food. He had a little window in his room that he could see out. He's an outdoors guy, right? So this little tiny window was just, he could sit and watch the traffic outside, even in just downtown Medicine Hat, there where he's at. And the peas were cooked. And I remember him telling me to tell Betty to tell Chris, get Chris to come to Medicine Hat if he can. He says, the peas are cooked and you get windows. And it was just, and I remember that changed me a lot, because I remember like Tony's used to kind of doing what he wants in life. He kind of had a successful business, and he was at a place in his life where he could travel if he wanted and enjoy the things he wanted, the food he wanted. We love food. We spent a lot of time talking and eating food. So it just dawned on me how much he had been reduced to find appreciation, if that makes sense, right? Peas in a window, cooked peas, right? So I remember that changing me to the point where now and I've told him, I says, I can't even eat cooked crappy peas without being grateful, right? The amount of gratefulness that I find in my world has just, because of something like that, the way that Tony is able to find the meaning and the positive in absolutely any of these crappy situations that they've been put through. Even my hardships are all of a sudden, there's an element of gratefulness to my lawn tractor breaks down, and it's, that's the worst thing that happened to me today is I got to push a mower. Every single moment in my life has changed because of these people and what they're going through, and the bigger picture with that, the gratefulness that's absolutely everywhere. They're in my, you talk to Granny about these 20-minute phone calls that you get off the phone with them, but I think for us, they're just with us all the time in everything we do and see and think. It's changed so much because of, and especially talking to Tony, and like Betty said, like Granny said about Chris, most of the time he's making sure we're okay. He's more concerned about that than anything. He's more concerned about his inmates being okay, that we're okay. He's always asking me, you guys still have food on the shelves, right? Because you got to think they left this world in either lockdown. We had masks on our face. It was a really different day. February 13th, 14th, 2020 was a very different world than we're in right now. And they just got cut off from that. So I remember one of the first conversations I had with him was, do you realize that I just went out for dinner and a movie with my family for my birthday? And it's because you did that, right? And I've told Chris Carbert that as well. I'm like, you sacrificed for me and my children by doing what you did. I thoroughly appreciate and was grateful for that. So I think it's important for us when we talk to them too, to remind them like how grateful we are for that sacrifice that they made for us. They froze their asses off. They were terrorized. I truly believe that anybody that stayed in Coutts was terrorized. And so it's important for them to know that that was a sacrifice, and how grateful that we are for that. Not just sitting out here feeling sorry for you because you're, eating crappy peas, but you changed the world, right? Like you did. So it's important. And Tony, even I know, like in Calgary right now, of course, now he's gone from medicine hat to the full meal deal, and he's in a gang ward, which isn't. This isn't Tony's world. The stuff he tells me, I'm just like, we're used to sitting in the country with our dogs running around and a beer and just some music, and this is our normal world, right? Sitting around talking about regular stuff. So now I can't even explain some of the things that happen. You're just, for regular, like you say, non-criminal type people to be thrown into a gang ward and expect to understand the dynamics there. I mean, he can't even call me as much as he wants because he says I'm not high up enough in the gang, so I stand at the back of the line. And certain people come in and they get in front of you, and you really want to talk to your mom today or your lawyer, and you wait. The other day, and this is a little example about how Tony's always able to kind of see the faith and the bigger picture. And how he maintains his own mental health by believing that his praying and his faith is actually helping other people. He knew there was this dynamic going on with his cellmate and a bunch of the other inmates, and he knew they were kind of planning to beat this person up. I think it made Tony extremely nervous all day because he's living in a cell with this person, and Tony is a very, very, very nonviolent person. So this is not, it was traumatizing, I think, the lead up to that. Lo and behold, his mom and our friend Nikki here took off one evening to go and visit him. The visits are at like 9 o'clock at night. And he gets this surprise call that there's, you got a visitor. So he pops out and he goes and does his visit with his mom, and nice surprise, all excited. And when he came back, the deed had been done and he had to contact the police. But he knew, he prayed, he says I prayed all day that they wouldn't kill him. That was Tony's day the other day.
Yeah.
He sat and prayed all day that this man would not be killed by the other members. It was all a gang dynamic, right? He probably understood more than he was letting on in that regard. And at the end, he says, he was in bad shape. I came in and he was beat up, but he wasn't dead. Okay. Right? And that's what kind of got him through the day. He was trying to kind of process this, but he's like, okay, what can I do? I can pray that they don't fatally harm this person. And it's just hard. I mean, we have our laughs, but stuff like that. And to know that it's one thing to hear it over the phone, but I can't imagine what somebody like Tony, what that would be like. I can't imagine. He's a soft, gentle person in essence, right? He's never been in a fight. He's never, actually, no, he says he slapped, he told me the kid's name. I slapped so-and-so in grade 7, and he says, I still feel bad about it. But he was bugging so-and-so. So, I mean, that's just him. So when he's all of a sudden sitting in this energy, it's
not his energy. So he's not comfortable. He doesn't belong there.
No.
And Donald, you're hearing this where mushy peas or bad peas are exciting. You're hearing them talk about, doing this stuff in their hair. It's fun, but these are all little breaks from the seriousness of what they're involved in. And what you're hearing here is men who are reaching for hope and excitement in anywhere they can find it. And the first thing that Chris told me yesterday when he called was they were surprised to find out that Newsweek did an article on them, and they have very restricted access to information. but Newsweek was one of the ones that they did have access to. And lo and behold, there's an article about them in there. So these kind of things that when they get a chance to read and hear about, how much does that affect the psyche and the soul of somebody who's there? And did you, oh, actually, I want to ask you about getting out. So while they're in this hypersensitive looking for optimism mode, where they're looking for it everywhere, when they come out, is there going to be an adjustment back to like a normal world? Or are they going to be like wide-eyed for quite some time and very, very happy about being free again? What do you think it's going to be like for the first couple of weeks when they come out?
Look, I was only in for 63 days. I was in solitary, so I didn't have to worry about getting killed or raped or anything like that, which was a big deal as I was an ex-copper. But I can tell you that there's two things, well, there's a lot of what I heard this morning. First of all, little things are so important when you've got nothing. I remember being able, in one cell, I could see a clock. To just see a clock meant so much. To have a visitor, to get a letter means so much. But I had a date for my release. After a certain point, I knew I was going to get out. And that gave me something to focus on. It must be tremendously hard to not know when you're going to get out. I'm not just talking about bail. I mean, think about the trial a year from now. Will they let them out after that? Will it be enough time served? Or could they get out? The uncertainty is very hard. But I can tell you this. To have loving friends, family waiting for you and who let you know that is a big deal. And when you get out, it's like being born again. It really is. It's almost a euphoria. And to have friends and family and the supportive community means everything. And so I'm going to write a few letters this weekend, and I hope other people do too. It means so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would encourage everybody to do that as well. Now, Betty, when your son comes out, what's the first thing you want to do with him? How do you want to bring him back to the world? What's the first thing you want to do with him?
Well, apparently when he gets out, I'm taking him right away to the Dairy Queen. So
He's
yes.
already set that up. What's he going to get?
The biggest burger he can and onion rings. So
he likes his burgers and onions.
yeah. And then probably the next day we'll head to Kelowna to pick up his son.
Oh, that's beautiful. So go over to BC and get his son. So he'll get custody right away?
Oh, yeah. He has full custody of him. There's no legal work done, giving her custody right now. Actually, I have most of the power right now of attorney. And so no, he'll get Kyler back. As a matter, Kyler and Ellie are here right now, and Kyler doesn't want to go back, but unfortunately for now, he will have to.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Chris has lots of family and friends here in Lethbridge, and he'll probably be busy with visits and going to visit himself. And the first chance he gets, he'll be camping.
Yeah, and Chris Lysick, what he said, one of the first meals for him is tuna poke bowl or something. Like, do you know what he's talking about there?
No. But yeah, he cooks a lot of unusual food. I know that. So.
Yes. I think, Granny, you know what he's talking about when he's talking about this tuna poke bowl? Oh, yeah, you're not...
Yes,
you can't hear?
Told me that it's something him and his girl started. He found it on Pinterest. Chris is a cook. He loves to cook. He shares recipes with me and tells me we're going to cook this. And he's that guy that loves to cook. And so these bowls are some fond memory with his daughters. So that's where that comes from.
Yeah, he was describing it to me. There's mayonnaise, there's sriracha, there's a bunch of stuff, but it's a raw dish. It's a type of sushi. So you have to get sushi grade tuna for it. And he was talking about that and how he really enjoys that as well. And yeah, I actually want to try it. That's exactly how he told me to find out how to make it. He goes, go to Pinterest. You'll find it there. You'll get the recipes. There's all types. We make our own version. So I don't know. Maybe there'll be a tuna poke bowl in the future, something in Alberta. Maybe we'll all start loving this when he comes out. But yeah, it was pretty interesting to hear that he likes to do that. I just want to highlight a question that came up here. So Stephanie said, can we, the public, write the boys' letters? Absolutely, Stephanie. So underneath here, you see the ticker. You see these numbers on the ticker. You'll need that. That's their number. And what you can do is you can search for Alberta inmate contact, something like that, and you will get a whole webpage from Alberta that tells you how to do exactly that. The best advice, Stephanie, is white paper, black blue pen, Granny. That was kind of the idea there. And
Yes,
just keep it pretty simple.
Ink over gel, no gel pens.
Okay, so you hear that, Stephanie? No gel pens. Just do a simple letter. Don't get any political. Don't get into any of that. Just say hello and that kind of stuff because they are screened. So if you want your letter to get through, keep it benign, and it doesn't really do much other than support the men. And anything else, Granny, that I can add there about tips on getting a letter to them?
Well, like Chris and Jerry have their regular addresses. Tony is not in Medicine Hat because I do have their addresses on Alberta Political Prisoners page. But Tony's not in Medicine Hat right now. He's kind of floating all over the place. I think because letters have made it to where they are. I don't know how to even think about the mail with Jerry and Tony right now. Jerry will get his mail, but there's a court coming up. Do you know if he's getting his mail right now, Jaclyn? Everything's coming to him, like even with he's floating around a bit?
I'm not 100% sure. He was making jokes about it last night, actually. He hollered to the guard and said, "Hey, where's my fan mail?" And anyway, I don't know, but he typically has no issues getting his mail there. He's actually, when I go in to drop money off for him and stuff, the lady at the front desk constantly mentions about how another big bag of mail for Jerry today. He's the only guy in remand that really receives any type of a letter. So yeah, they notice big time.
Oh, that's wonderful that he's excited.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Granny.
Jason, I was just going to mention, I have a plan for the 4 men, and everybody that I spoke to is on board with this. We've had discussions about this. We have 4 envelopes in a safe, and it's called dignity money. So when these men get out of the remand jails, they will have money in their wallet. They will not have to ask for money. They will not have to ask to go for a coffee. They will have dignity because that's what they've taken everything from them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the plan is to not give them handout, but a hand up. Get their businesses back up and running. Get them back into the living world as the men they were when they left. We're not going to just have them walk out the door and then not do anything. We are with them until they are back to where they are meant to be, the men they were. So we're not going to just abandon them when they get out.
Yeah, and Chris Lysak was mentioning he's been debanked, so RBC closed his stuff on him. He's worried about his mortgage renewal, and these are the concerns that they have because the system is already penalizing them without even a judgment. So yeah, he's been debanked. I'm sure all of them are going to be debanked, if not already. So yeah, they're going to need a hand. So Alberta credit unions, be there for these guys. Like they're going to need to be able to rebuild what they lost. 100% Granny, I'm behind you. I support that. And as an entrepreneur and a business guy, I'm going to be behind marketing, help these guys in any way we can. Let's get them out there and restart it as well. So thank you, Granny, for having these envelopes of dignity.
One of Tony's close friends, Nikki, she's probably somewhere around Danielle right now. She had said weeks ago, if Chris Carbert wants to get his landscaping and fencing company back up and running, she says, I will work for him for free because this is how dedicated everybody is. They want Chris to be back up to the man he was. He had a great company. He worked hard to get that company. So people like Nikki they're waiting. They're waiting to help Chris in any way we can. And that's going to go for all of them. Whatever we can do. The people are here. We may be the fringe minority, but I'll tell you, we're here and we're ready to help.
Absolutely. And I love the fringe, whatever it is. I love our group. So Danielle, yeah, you're getting ready. Let me get your microphone here. There you go. You ready to help these gentlemen when they get out, and Tony get rocking and
I'll
rolling?
come work with Nikki with Chris.
Yeah, for free?
100% for free, 100%. I've been doing that this summer I love lawns. It's so much fun in landscaping. So of course, that would be a great project. Get that landscaping business to be back to the #1 in Lethbridge, and whatever Jerry needs to get going too. We're there too, and Chris Lysick. So that'll be the fun part.
It would be a pleasure.
It would be a pleasure to be on that side of things. 100%.
Yeah, I think we should go find Chris's mountain cabin and just get it all ready for him.
100%. Yeah.
We'll raise the door up so he's nice and tall, so he can walk in without bumping his head. And...
Yeah. We had a 80th birthday party for Tony's mom here not that long ago. And so we had to decorate his big shop with all his mechanics tools and his greasy trucks and everything. But we had to decorate it pretty for the Filipinos. So it's all pretty in there. And we still got balloons up, and we decided to leave it after the party instead of taking it all down. We left it up in his shop. So we said, well, when he gets home, it's already decorated and we're set up for a party. So we've got a case of tequila sitting there and another party ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And where's that party going to be so everybody can get ready for it?
At Tony's. Oh, that one will be a big one. Yeah. Out at Tony's. He's got a very nice large property out northeast of Claresholm here. So lots of camping land. You guys are all welcome. We had people actually at Tessie's party. We had people from, holy moly, what did we have? Grand Prairie, Saskatoon, all over the place. Winnipeg. We had somebody from Winnipeg, didn't we? Yeah.
Wow.
It was crazy. Yeah, that's the Freedom Fund. That's what she wanted for her birthday too. We had made quite a fun bunch of connections by that time, and it was just so much fun. So we had a DJ, and Lindsay Butler came and played, and big gigantic potluck and a dance party, and it's so much fun. So that's all set up, ready to go for when they get out. Big party at Tony's house. So.
And Betty, so when Chris gets out, do you think he's going to continue with the Bible studies and continue with the faith studies and maybe take that path a little bit further? What do you think?
Absolutely. I think that is his goal. They're really the pastor that goes to the remand has encouraged him to go further. He is thinking now about becoming a pastor.
I was going to ask, is there going to be a pastor, Chris?
Yeah, there might be. Of course, that would probably take a little time. He wants to I don't think Chris knows exactly what he wants to do anymore. As much as he loved his business, he's not sure he'll go back into that, or he's got a lot of thoughts going through his head because of everything that has happened. I think he wants to take a new direction. Whether it will be immediately or not, well, I guess we'll find out hopefully soon. But yeah, I think he'll probably start with the landscaping business and fencing first, just to get on his feet and go from there.
Yeah, he could use the name Fringe Landscaping or something now, so people know. Right? If you want to clean the fringes, and that's the guy you call, he'll tidy it up as well. Yeah, and that would be really cool to see him follow that path, because he really talked about it a lot. He mentioned a 2016 incident where he watched a video that kind of opened his eyes to the faith. So he had that path before, but now that he's in there, he's read the Bible, and he also mentioned his favorite versions, the New Testament, the Old Testament. He's read as well, but he prefers the new one. And I think that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. That what I highlighted, Betty, was after I got off my call with him, he had a lot of empathy for people in the system, but he wanted to help people with the legal system. And what that highlighted to me was he's not a man that disagrees with the legal system. He didn't want to try and take it down. He's not trying to hurt anybody. He absolutely, his wiring, the way he is to work with what you got and make the best of it, not the type of person that they were painting him out to be. So I just want to highlight to you there, Betty, that there's no way these allegations are even close to true in my mind. Yeah. So Jaclyn, how about you? So when he comes out, do you think there's an endorsement deal with Vaseline? Do you think maybe we can turn him into a little celebrity? What do you think?
He would be all over that, I'm sure, if that was
Well, he can't. It's too
possible.
slippery. He can't be over it. He'll be sliding all over. But
Jerry would make a great Vaseline spokesperson. So if anybody out there is listening in the interwebs, let's line that up.
yeah, I think Molly's suggesting to get a case for him at least.
Yeah, I saw that. No, I think Jerry will get back to power lining right away. He misses his crew. He also endeavors to start his own business. Him and his brother, they've wanted to for a long time, and it's his brother's his twin brother, actually. So I'm sure that he's going to want to, see him and give him a big hug. And of course, his daughter, he's just dying to get his arms around her. And then we're probably going to take her and we'll probably go to Fairmont Hot Springs, because that's where we like to go, the little chalets out there, and get our butts right down to Lucier Hot Springs and get in that water, because that's one of our favorite spots. Jerry can sit there all day long. He absolutely loves grounding in the hot springs. He knows where every single one of them are in Western Canada. You will not drive past where there's a hot spring without pulling over and taking a dip. So I know that he's going to want to get out there. I don't think he cares what sort of meal he gets, as long as there's a huge amount of protein in it. And I think that, we'll just relax try to relax, try to shake off that energy and that anxiety. And then we've already talked about it. Therapy will be right after that. Yeah. There's no doubt that therapy will be needed to help get through these times and over the hump. And we're not, too proud to say that help is needed, and we'll be getting right into that right away, so that we can get him in the best mindset possible, so we can jump right back into getting him connected with his son again. So those will be our main priorities, but we're going to need a little bit of downtime in between to kind of do the recharge the batteries, make a clear focus plan for where we're going. And I have no doubt that he will bounce back well. And we'll be off to the races. But we both anticipate that there will be a bit of an adjustment period, and so we're gonna jump right into finding someone to help him do that with the most ease, so that we can kind of get there faster, rather than see how it goes and then deal with the fallout of that. We both recognize, and and that's therapy for both of us. I should probably be there now, but it just we'll imagine we'll end up there together. So that's going to be our main plan.
Absolutely. And Donald, I'm going to go to you next. Can you kind of let the family know that there's going to be an adjustment period? Don't expect everything to be back to normal. They're going to have their routines still, even when they come out. They're going to feel like they're still there sometimes. There may be some PTSD, some night stuff. Can you kind of prepare the family for a good way to give them a nice place to come to and readjust back to where their life used to be?
Well, I hear what you say about PTSD and all the rest of it. And I can tell you, even the short time that I was in, you come out different. You are a different person than when you went in. But sometimes you come out better. You talk to people. It gives you a chance to focus on what's really important. And I hear that with the friends and relatives talking about how they have maybe a little different way of seeing the world now, a little bit different ambition. You come out, you appreciate your friends and family so much more. You appreciate your life, freedom, just seeing a tree. I know it sounds silly, but you remember how excited you were when you were a little girl or boy and you got up on Saturday and you didn't have to go to school and the whole world was just waiting for you. Well, it has that effect on many, many people. So don't think that they're going to come out as somehow, damaged. They're going to be changed, but you might find that they will profit from this hard life that they've had to go through. And so I'm just saying, be optimistic, be really optimistic. And you just might find that when they get out, they're different, but they might be happier, better. I'm not saying they weren't, but good things can happen through tough times.
Absolutely. And I like what you said. They're going to be changed, not damaged. And that's right. That's right. Now, Granny, how is it you're going to be able to get to 4 Christmases every single year now? You are definitely going to be part of these families, and I'm sure they're going to want you around. So you're going to flip a bunch of coins. Do they have to arm wrestle? How are they going to work out this 4 Christmases you need to get to?
Okay, I'm the elder of the family now, so they can come to me.
There we go. There we go. Well, that's what the envelopes are for, is to come see Granny at Christmas, right? Sorry, Don, I was going to mute your...
I look forward to it. I would gladly have them all join my family, because now we all are a huge family. I can't see this disappearing. We were brought together for a reason. I do believe that. And I look forward to having everyone together one day soon. I look forward to it.
And I'm going to ask you, Granny, are you prepared for the day that they come out? Because that's going to be emotional for you as well. And there's some adjustment for you. So do you have some support around you?
Oh, yeah. I've got great support. My family, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing if my daughter and son-in-law didn't help me. Like, they put the roof over my head. They give me the support when I come home. They feed me as I'm trying to make keychains and whatever and talk on the phone. Life is busy right now, and they support me 100%. And because I couldn't do this by myself. Everybody sees my face, but I do have a strong support group of strangers. But I do have a strong support group of my family, and the people they see on this podcast, their family now too. Like I said, we all support each other, and we all keep each other up. If somebody's having a bad day, and we all know, we smile and we push through. And sometimes you fake until you make it, but we're here for each other. Each one of us have had a hard day, but they know that we're out here, and the boys know we're out here too. And they worry about us as much as we worry about them. Yeah. And like I said, we were brought together for a reason, and it's not going to end when this is over. I believe we maybe have a bigger calling, all of us together. We'll see, because I think we've got bigger and better things coming.
I was going to ask you that. So once this is done, I don't think you're done. I think you're an advocate for life now. I think you're going to be doing a lot of really, really important things in the future too. I can't see you just hanging up your towel after this anymore.
Tony and I actually talked about that yesterday. It was quite funny. When I first started talking with the boys, they were all calling at the same time. When you're on a 1-866 number and you see another 1-866 number come and you can't answer it, it's like, So I had to separate them all, because they were all trying to call at the same time. So Tony became my 2 o'clock Tony. I always had my coffee ready, and I would be sitting there, and Tony and I would talk, and it was 10 after 2 when he called yesterday. So I got on the phone and I said, "Oh my gosh, old times, Tony. 2 o'clock Tony's back." And I said, "My coffee's not ready." So I had the kettle going, and he was laughing. He says, "I was thinking the exact same thing." So then Tony goes on to share a story, because he wants to be all cleaned up and look good for court. Well, you have to rely on certain people within the cell block to cut your hair and give you a shave. So he says to me, "Yeah, the one barber, he left today. So now I got to rely on a guy that's up for murder, and he's got a straight blade," or whatever you call it. And he starts laughing and he goes, yeah, I'm about to get a haircut and a shave. And I'm going, oh my gosh, you can't make this stuff up. Like the things that they're sharing with us, we're going, and he's laughing and he's going, yeah, a nervous laugh. But so he's relying on somebody to clean him up and make him look good at a court date. So him and I got talking about these people. How can we all walk away knowing what they told us? There's others that have been in there a long time that are going through the same thing as these gentlemen, and innocent until proven guilty. I think we're going to keep going forward. How can we walk away knowing others are in there? These 4 men know there's people in there similar to them and have no voice. Right. And that's the part that's going to haunt us all. As much as we want to walk away, I don't know if I can. Knowing somebody's in there and that they can't talk, I feel there's a big voice going to be out there for the men that are within the remand system. That remand system is unbelievably broken. It's a disaster. Right. So we need to fix it somehow or put a light on it at least.
Right, and this could be the path. Is you're going to help a lot of people when this is over. Maybe correct the system a bit, and there's going to be a lot less suffering. We want rehabilitation. We don't want suffering or torture. Danielle, so when Tony comes out, I'm pretty sure you're going to wrap those arms around him. Can you tell us how you plan on taking those arms off? Because I suspect you don't want to.
No, I'm with Granny. I feel like it's just the mission will change path, but I've said that to Tony. We've tried to kind of have that conversation in the past, like what does the future look like with this? And I says, I don't know, but I says, I feel that in 10 years, we're still going to be fighting this. I just feel that. I don't really know how to explain it. It's just like Granny said, like there's no way that they walk out of there and we all cry and get excited and party. And then knowing what we know, there's just no way. When you know, and
right. And you
don't know what that looks like right now because we're not there yet and we're a little overwhelmed with the present, but we all, I think, have that understanding. I don't think there's anyone in the family that doesn't, or not even just the family, but we have like other people who have been extremely supportive from the beginning. You won't see them out on here or anything, but you know who they are, who have been around from day one and unwavering that way. You just feel like that's a powerful little group of people that have kind of risen to this point that we can't just let that go to waste, and we can't let this momentum go to waste when they come out. Their voices, they're going to have a lot of power with that if they choose to use it. So I don't know what it looks like. I do feel like there's some reform definitely in the justice system, but I've also been a lot more involved with the legal end of things too. And I think I'm not sure which way that is for me. It's a little bit foggy as far as whether it's even a different topic. I don't know. Justice versus legal, right? Like I used to think it was the same thing, but
yeah, you're right.
I don't, and when I dipped my toe into some government, I never thought in a million years I'd be involved in politics. Honestly, I'm a hippie kind of girl. That was just never. Next thing I know, I'm like campaign managing for an MLA and kind of getting a little into that. And who knows? I don't know. I just know in my soul that it's not over. I don't think it'll ever be over. I don't know. I hope one day Canada's just Canada again and we're back on track and we can all focus our energies on helping people in the way they need. But right now there's still a big boulder to push with this in this country. So whether these guys are out of jail or not, that's still there. So
yeah, and I think what you're tapping in on is we know how we're going to feel when they come out. Joyous and very thankful, but not everybody will. There's going to be some people that totally believe they were guilty all along, and maybe they just got out on a technicality. We're going to have haters out there. And what I would kind of warn and prepare everybody for, I do believe that when we find out some of the more of this truth through the court and things are vitiated and things are going back in the right direction that we like, I don't think it's going to be good for some authorities and some possibly prime ministers. There's going to be possibly some shakeup around this. I believe that part. But I also believe that's going to bring a lot of attention to the guys that they don't want. There are going to be a lot of people that are going to blame him if Trudeau ends up leaving the party or steps down or something like that. So what we're going to have to be aware of as we move forward is we're going to have to continue with the message of innocence even once they come out, because there's going to be a good chunk of this country that needs to understand the innocence so they can let go of their anger towards them. It's not going to be Canada celebrates. We probably would expect Alberta, and a good chunk of it will, but there's going to be a lot of haters out there. So we're going to, part of our mission here, Danielle and Granny, is to continue with the innocence conversation even once they come out, because we do have to educate people on the truth. Because I do believe there are going to be some consequences. You might have an RCMP officer or Crown, somebody in trouble, and then people are going to be mad that they're in trouble and putting the blame in the wrong place. So I think we're going to have to continue this journey there, Granny, well after they come out, and you as well, Danielle and Dawn, as we keep educating people.
I've spoken on the accountability list. I think that's kind of growing, and we're trying to kind of add to. I feel like that's the next step too, right? Like obviously is a huge amount of education as to the who, what, when, where, why, how, so that people can and in the way that we can actually present, like Donald was talking about, actual evidence to the fact. That all comes down to the accountability as well, like what we're going to do with that material after the fact and how we're going to deal with that accountability. Does it just I'm sure they'll just want it to go away,
Right.
and pawn it. The media might not even touch it at all. So it'll be a big mission, I think, to kind of make sure that the key players, like there's at least as much effort now as there is after, to make sure that there's accountability on those issues with those people.
Absolutely. So Don, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to you, and then we'll wrap up. But yeah, what I just said there and what Danielle just said there, accountability is going to be a big step next. And of course, because they might be the catalyst to that accountability, they're going to be pointed at as they did something wrong. They did nothing wrong. They got picked up, some sort of thing went against them. They're just going to help the system correct itself. But they're going to get blamed. There's going to be absolutely a segment of society that blames them for any outcome here. You're going to stick around with us as we fight that battle as well, Don? Oh, sorry, you got you mute. There you go. You're good.
Okay. As Danielle said, when you know, you know. And in the context she said it was, now you have to do something about it. And isn't that the case? I mean, you have to get on with your life. But I think that people are now inspired. They know that our justice system and law enforcement has been weaponized by the political class, not just in the Coutts Four here, but everywhere. And when you know, and you see it. So I really hope that this situation with the Crown having to resign and perhaps and being a witness and perhaps even being charged, and whatever's happening there, and the RCMP having to seek counsel, the officers who are involved, maybe that will go a long way to vindicating these four men. And I think that we have to work hard at that, to let Canadians know, because we're fighting the media. These guys are terrorists, right? Okay, but now we're starting to gain traction. Look at that Newsweek and other things that are happening. I'm very optimistic. So yes, there's going to be a section of society that will always blame them or not pay attention to, even if they are fully vindicated. But Canadians are waking up to a lot of things, and I think they'd be open mind and open hearts, especially when the truth comes out about how this case was driven by a political agenda.
You want to say goodbye? Say hi to the man or something?
Gentlemen, you saw that Newsweek, that article, is indicative of now international attention to what's being done to you And I can tell you that a lot more people, Canadians and now Americans, know about your situation. And that's the step one. Stay strong, and we'll see you on the 25th in court.
Yes, absolutely. I'll be there for the whole week. Danielle, do you want to say goodbye?
I hope everybody has a good weekend. We're going to be out in Vulcan tomorrow with some merch and things to sell. I think Jaclyn's going to be there. Me, Nikki, a few other people are going to be there with bumper stickers, keychains. Our friends from, what is it called, Granny? The coffee company? Coffee for Freedom? Coffee for Freedom?
She's getting there.
Galatians 5:1.
Donations 5-1. I was way off, but they sell coffee and they use the donations to help these guys. And so there's a what is it, like a smash up derby in Vulcan. So there's going to be beer gardens and smash up derby and a whole bunch of fun stuff going on. So I think that starts around 3:00 on Saturday. If anybody wants to come out and say hi and buy some stuff and meet and greet, maybe. Betty, I don't know what you're doing. Oh, you're bringing grandkids back tomorrow. Yeah, could stop at Vulcan. But yeah, so that's our fun weekend. And Tessie's going to come to Tony. She was supposed to go visit Tony on Saturday, and he on the phone last night. He says, "You tell her to go with you, and you go have fun with my mom." And you don't worry about bringing her up here for a 45-minute visit. It's on the other end of Calgary, a big pain in the butt drive. He says, "No, you take her with you to go have fun." She's 80 years old, and she's probably had more fun in the last 6 months than she has in her whole life. So he gets really excited knowing that she's coming out to these events with us and stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll have a fun time. We'll pick her up and go watch her. She'll get excited watching the trucks get smashed up. I know she will. It'll be fun. Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us, Danielle, and thank you for joining the team as well. You're going to help make a big difference here. And Granny, do you want to have a goodbye?
You bet. So, we've got a lot of good things happening right now, but we can't take our foot off the gas pedal. Things like Vulcan, we still need to share awareness. Come and meet the family and friends there. But any opportunity to share, just keep sharing and share some more. This isn't over until it's over. So keep your foot on the gas pedal and do what you can, because doing nothing is not an option. Never has been. Right. But we got to keep going. So
thank you, Granny. So sharing is caring for sure. Let's share. And then Betty, you want to say a final goodbye here?
Well, first, yeah, Danielle, I will be in Vulcan.
You're coming?
So I'll see you there.
Can't hear you.
I just want to thank you, Jason, and you, Donald. It's incredible what you two have done and the awareness that you are putting out there for so many more people to see. And I can't even begin to express how much that means to me and Chris. So thank you again.
100% our pleasure. It's God's gift to us. So thank you very much for letting us share this life with you. Jaclyn?
Yes, thank you. As always, you guys, we really appreciate this. Donald, your perspective is super important. It's so helpful for people to be able to see that there's two sides, honestly, to cops. There's a cop and there's a human. And we appreciate that you bring the humanization. We're not here to try to, sway people against law enforcement. We want people to still respect the laws and the authorities in this country. But we also are big believers that respect is earned. So we encourage people to do the right thing out there and to carry yourself with high integrity so that we can respect you. Donald's a great example. Please just follow him and you can see what you need to do there, folks. But I'll be in Vulcan tomorrow as well. I'm kind of excited to be at a Smash Up Derby. I haven't been to one in over a decade. We've always had them back home in New Brunswick. I actually drove in one once. I won a trophy. It was the most smashed up car. So it'll be interesting to see people, giving it a go out there. So we'll put our bumper stickers on the bumper cars and come on out, hang out. I'm going to start plugging, Jason, as long as you don't mind, the upcoming new fundraiser that's really starting to come together nicely, which is going to be the Operation Rescues Ride for Freedom, which was going to be a bike rally and poker run. So I'm calling out to all you two-wheel loving, freedom loving people. We want to see this be, a really big poker run in Alberta. The Ride for Dad usually looks pretty good, so we want to be better even than that. And this can also be considered Ride for Dads as well. So 2 legs of the rally. One will start in Bike Court, the other one will be in Medicine Hat, and we're going to meet in Bicycle in the middle and have a big roast pig dinner and a silent auction. There is a campground right across from the lot that we're using in the shop. So if people want to stay the night and have a little party, there's the people that own the lot are in a band and they've offered to play music for us. So there's lots of good things coming together. I'm hoping to have a graphic. Mr. Greg Arcade has blessed us with his talents and he's going to put our logo together, hoping to see that sometime really soon, and be on the lookout for the marketing on that, and get yourselves ready for the biggest biker rally in Alberta. That's what we're hoping for. So
that is amazing, and I'm very excited about that. And I got to do my own plug here. Greg Arcade is on tonight, so if you want to see Greg Arcade live, he's on my show tonight, 4 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Eastern. He's got a song that he's going to release on our show today that hasn't released yet. So come check that out. And he's an amazing gentleman. And I know he loves these Coutts Four. He came to do that fundraiser and he's been thinking about them ever since. So check out this afternoon, 4 p.m. Mountain. You'll go see Greg Arcade. So we'll be able to say hi to him. Thank you all so much. I love these episodes. I'm a legal guy. I like to get into the weeds and stuff. With Donald, we get in there, we go hunting for stuff. But this is my favorite episode every Friday, where we get to meet the friends and family, because this reminds us who we're working for. We're working for men, real people, family men. They got children. They got lives. They want to get back to it. So thank you all very much. Donald, Danielle, Granny, Betty, Jaclyn, all of them in the chat, everybody watching the replay as well. Thank you very much. Can you all just stick around? So after I sign off here, I kind of want to talk to you all about something, but stick around at the end here. So folks, happy Friday. Friday is the end of the week with your friends, right? Friends and the end of the week. So thank you for being friends. You're here with us. You're sharing some stories. Vaseline, yoga. This guy is awesome. He likes his hot springs. Jerry, you sound like a lot of fun. Tony, you inspire me. You really do, man. I'm hearing all these wonderful stories about you. You're non-violent. You don't have a violent bone in your body, and you sound like a really nice guy. I would love to break bread with you. Chris L., I just want to step back and watch you hug your kids. Put them back on your hip. Like you said, you used to carry your daughter on your hip, and she would just fit perfectly there. She's 15 now. She's going to be driving, but I'd love to see that again. And Chris, Carbert, let's go fishing. Let's go fishing. You were kind of proud. I asked you, are you a novice? Are you an expert? And he had no shame. He says, I'm really good. I'm pretty good. Yeah, I'm really good. So Chris, let's go do that. Okay. And then to everybody in the chat, share. You guys are giving some lovely messages here. The family gets to see it. Messages go back to the gentleman through their family. So thank you for sharing all of those. And for those of you that want to write a letter, there's a good way to do it. I think we shared some links for you to go ahead and get that going. You just need these numbers and you can find them. There's that link. So make sure you do that. If that's what you want to do, they'd love to see it. And Jerry's got the biggest bags, right? So he gets these fan mail. Let's make sure Jerry gets his fan mail. Okay. I don't know how he's going to open it with those Vaseline fingers of his, but he'll make it happen. He'll make it happen. So thank you all very much. There's a lot of things happening behind the scenes. It's going to be a great week next week. We've got guests lined up, and we're going to have a lot more information. I did get the vet to confirm he's going to be here Tuesday. We're going to understand PSYOPs, government, what they do. He was trained. He's actually part of the system that understands how governments do this. propaganda. We'll be talking about that. This is Alex Cabanas from Propaganda Patriot. So he'll be here on Tuesday. And we're also going to have another gentleman from the media join us on Wednesday. His name's Ray out of BC. He's doing a large article on these gentlemen. Newsweek did about 1,500. He's doing 7,000 words. So the word's getting out. You're going to see a lot more. And please support us on these articles when they come out and share it around, pass it around. You know, the CBC is not doing it. And you know that when they come out, there's going to be some consequences for our leadership, and our leadership pays for the media. So the media is going to be on their side. We know that. It's going to happen. So we need to replace the media. We need to do stuff like this, because Canadians talking to Canadians about Canadians is what we should be doing. That's news. Manufacturing it, producing it, filtering it, and putting it out there, that's not news. So we're going to have to get shows like this out there, keep them growing so that Canada can know the truth. And there's a lot of good truth out there. Don't be afraid of it, Canada. These are good men, very good men. Well, on that note, you know how I feel about all of you. I love you all. And God bless.